All right, let's dive straight into this explainer and demystify exactly how we can use macrocosmic metrics to completely optimize our daily self-care routines. If you've ever felt like your personal energy levels are just somehow totally disconnected from your environment, or if you're constantly trying to figure out exactly when to push forward and when to just pull back, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we are unpacking the Cosmogenous Daily Octave Weather Dashboard to understand how massive planetary cycles actually dictate the absolute best ways to care for our biology right here on the ground. Here is how we're going to break this all down today. First, reading the cosmic weather. 2, the current integration phase. 3, translating outer to inner. 4, your daily self-care routines. And finally, managing the high burn watch. Let's jump right into section 1, reading the cosmic weather and mapping the journey. We've got to look at the big picture first, because, well, you really can't navigate without a map. Just look at the sheer depth of information we have here. This brilliant dashboard basically functions as an interface for mapping massive environmental signals directly to our everyday human experience. It literally tracks everything from the solar right ascension, which is currently sitting at gate 6, dealing entirely with breath and synchronization, all the way over to the lunar position at gate 11, which focuses on repair and pattern recognition. I know it might look a little complex at first glance, but it's essentially a highly sophisticated weather report for your nervous system. So, the foundation of this entire system relies on understanding something called cosmic invariants. These invariants are the overarching macro cycles of the solar and lunar systems. They are massive, they are highly predictable, and, this is key, they are completely outside of our control. They are the fixed environmental realities that we all operate within. Think of them kind of like the seasons. You obviously can't control winter, but you can definitely choose to wear a heavy coat. These cosmic invariants set the baseline frequency for literally everything else that happens. To figure out exactly where we sit within these invariants, we look to the Dragon Curve Continuity Tracker. As we chart this timeline, we can see our current position is at cycle day 29.53. This firmly places us in the dissolution phase of the curve. We have moved way past emergence, past the peak, past compression. We are at the very tail end of a massive cycle, sitting right on the precipice of a brand new beginning. That brings us right into section 2, the current integration phase, where we diagnose the pressures. Knowing we're in dissolution changes absolutely everything about how we should be operating today. Because we are at the very end of that curve, we are currently navigating what the dashboard calls the integration corridor. Now, this acts as a deeply necessary sacred pause. Think of it as the vital space between completion and reemergence. During this corridor, the field is attempting to organize all the recent incoming signals into a usable, coherent structure. So this is absolutely not a time for forcing new projects or hustling harder. It is a time for allowing the dust to settle so your body and mind can actually absorb what has just happened. So what's the quality of this specific pause? Well, our cosmic biometrics act as these really reassuring vital signs for our environment. Currently, our field stability, or our coherence, is reading at a really solid 72%. That tells us the foundation right now is relatively stable. The environment isn't chaotic. In fact, it's providing a highly secure container for us to do this deep, restorative integration work. But here is the catch. Despite that 72% stability and a very solid 74% field clarity, this next metric is absolutely vital. Our overall processing demand, or integration load, is currently reading as high. This is a massive distinction. The environment is stable, sure, but the internal biological work required to process the recent cycles is incredibly taxing right now. Your system is working major overtime behind the scenes. Moving right along to section 3, translating outer to inner, or biological routing. How do these massive environmental signals actually affect our biology? How does the macro become the micro? It happens through a process called Mobius translation. Now, I know that sounds like a complex concept straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually super practical. The overall field splits into 2 primary biological paths. On one side, we have the solar path, or cosmosynthesis, which emphasizes deep cellular organization. On the flip side, we have the lunar path, or mitovault, which demands rigorous energy conservation and pattern stabilization. So right now, your biology is trying to balance this profound organization of your cells with an intense need to conserve energy, all while processing that super high integration load. Which brings us to section 4, your daily self-care routines. This is where the rubber really hits the road for your personal, actionable daily habits. To survive this high integration load, you need a highly targeted routine. You absolutely must actively support your system through heavy hydration, deliberate breathing practices, gentle movement, and journaling. But at the exact same time, you have to ruthlessly reduce overcommitment, excess stimulation, and emotional overanalysis. You simply cannot afford to drain your energy on multitasking when your cellular organization requires so much internal bandwidth right now. You've got to consciously choose conservation over acceleration. And because that processing demand is so incredibly high, let's just do a really quick personal check-in. Ask yourself, are you experiencing mental looping, physical heat spikes, heightened emotional sensitivity, or maybe some sleep disruption today? If you see any of these creeping in, it means your personal integration load is maxing out. Your daily habits need an immediate, targeted adjustment. Therefore, your optimal daily posture during this specific octave requires 2 clear, non-negotiable steps. Step 1, observe the field before taking action. Seriously, do not just jump out of bed and directly into the chaos. Take a minute to assess the landscape. Step 2, synchronize yourself before trying to accelerate. You have to align your internal state with that 72% field stability before you even think about hitting the gas pedal. Remember, we are in a sacred pause. We have to act accordingly. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, managing the high burn watch. What exactly should you do if your system starts getting completely overloaded? This right here builds our ultimate safety net. If those exact symptoms we just discussed, like the physical heat spikes and that obsessive mental looping, start to flare up, you have officially entered a high burn watch. Listen, this isn't just regular everyday stress or having a mildly bad day. Your biology is quite literally overheating from the intense friction of way too much processing demand and not nearly enough energy conservation. The if-then scenario here is incredibly direct, and it's built entirely to protect you. If you experience these high burn indicators, immediately shift your routine into the cooling protocol. Stop the multitasking. Cancel those overcommitments right now. Aggressively hydrate and lean entirely into gentle movement and intentional breathing. You have to actively intervene to cool your biological system down before it redlines. By fully embracing this sacred pause and actively supporting your biology with these highly targeted daily routines, you can effortlessly navigate the heavy integration load that's sitting right in front of us. Look, we are at the very end of the dragon curve. We are preparing for a new beginning, but the specific work we do today to conserve our energy is exactly what will dictate how effectively we emerge tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Looking at your schedule right now, how will you adjust your daily habits today to actually synchronize with this cosmic weather?